Hey, here we are. I could tell we are now live after the introduction and everything. We had a video. So, welcome to the Heal and Place Energy School with two kick butt Reiki mistresses. I want to welcome you to tonight's live Reiki healing meditation. And it's all about holding space. And
Yes.
feel free, please, to jump in if you would like to share the conversation, if you want to add a remark or an observation. We want to be inclusive, build a community of healers. And I think that is really quite lovely.
Yes, we would love to have people, if anyone is actually interested. And wouldn't it be fun to have another person join us one night? We can have more people on, right? Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, we should do that.
Yeah, we should start. Yeah, but let's see if anyone's here. Say hello. Hi, I'm Robin Bornstein.
Yes, and Helen Chin-Lu here from the Heal and Place Energy School. So the topic that we have chosen, which I think is very pertinent, is about holding space.
Yes.
Holding space. And people might say, what the heck does that mean?
It's a big topic in the healing world or the healing circles. If you work on your own self, your inner self, or you work with others, you've heard the term holding space. Helen, what does holding space for yourself or holding space for others mean to you?
Let's start. I'm going to say holding space for me is because I work with clients throughout the week, plus I have a family, plus I have a spouse, a husband, which he's quite wonderful. But holding space for me is to be fully present when I'm talking. Because at one point, I don't know about you, Robin, I'd be pounding on the computer like this. I'm going to imagine I'm pounding. Instead of turning around and talking to my husband, he's talking to the back of my head. And then, of course, I get too lazy to turn my head. So I part my hand and let my other eyes look at him. And my husband doesn't think that's funny.
Oh, I think it's funny. I just did that to my husband. He literally came in here, sat on the couch back here, and I was having computer issues. And I'm like, I'm listening. Just talk. I'm listening.
Oh, you're being much kinder. I would say, don't you have somewhere in the house you need to be right this minute? And I'm like,
that's so funny.
So
I think Helen and I have both had very long. You've been together with your husband forever. I've been together with my husband forever. And I think when you're in that long-term relationship, it's not a nice thing to do, but it sometimes happens. We're busy and we're trying to multitask, and he does it to me too. So yeah.
It's called taking the other person for granted.
Yes.
Before I forget, please feel free to jump in if you have comments, if you have insights. Let's make it a really kick butt, time to be together and grow the community that we are all looking for. We all want to belong, right?
We do. And we all want to be able to hold space for ourselves and for others. So we're here. We're here for listening to you if you have questions or need help with something. So please reach out. We can always be found. If you look below, you can reach out to us through the website. So subscribe and reach out if you have questions or would like us to talk about a certain subject.
Okay. So as you were asking me, Robin, what do I consider when I hold space for other people? Since I see probably around 15 to 20 people a week in my office, which is a lot of people.
That's a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. And I'm holding space for the client. So think, you don't have to, you could substitute clients for family, children, friends, so forth, parents, so forth. It's basically, can you allow yourself to strip away from judgment? This is a real hard one, especially with family. They really have a tough time. How do you connect with family without judging them and allow them to speak what they need to say without you jumping down their throats and saying, you know what, and basically what you're doing is dismissing them.
Yes. And when you have that reaction, when you're working or listening to, when you're with someone and you have that reaction of becoming defensive or, snapping back, you're not holding space. You're not listening. You're not being there for that person when they're speaking. So I find if you get triggered that way, if you find yourself getting triggered, to take a deep breath,
right?
Exhale slowly, and try to be mindful of how you're feeling and reacting, and just trying to be there for that person.
Well, it's basically, can you come back in the moment without you're already thinking how this person is making you mad?
Yes. 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 And when that is happening in the moment, it can be really difficult to hold your space, hold yourself accountable for your actions or reactions.
Yeah, so because, and what it is, a lot of time, it's especially if it's a brother or sister or a parent or even a spouse, and you've been together for a really long time, and you know how they're triggered. And all you have to say, if you notice, say one word and also the other person gets mad. So by learning how to mix it up. What do you think about that, Mariah?
No, I think that sounds good. I think that's, I mean, and that can change. I mean, it all depends on the other, if you're with someone, it depends on their mood. They may hear, they may be in a good mood one day, and you may say the same thing you said last week, but they're in a bad mood this week. You say something again, and things go sideways. So you just have to be aware of what's going, just trying to hold space for them is trying to be aware of feeling their energy, feeling where they are, and trying not to react, and trying not, especially when you're dealing with, children, spouses, family, extended family, or even really good friends, to really be there and hold their space. Helen, don't you find that you just have to listen and not judge what's coming out of their mouth? Not have that back and forth. If they say something you don't agree with, let it go.
Well, as
engage with that topic at that time.
When I was in energy medicine school, one of our studies that I had to read was the 4 agreements.
Mm.
And one thing about the 4 agreements about, can you use your words impeccably? In other words, really be mindful of everything you say, knowing that you are doing the best you can. Can you do things without judgment? Of course, I can't think of what is the 4th agreement. Besides,
I have the book over there. I can go grab
it. I have the book, but the point is, can you be detached to the outcome? This is, I think, the hardest part of everybody's journey, especially when it's generational, where you know what the outcome already, especially if you have a standardized outcome, you already know what the defenses are even before you even get into the conversation.
Yes. Yes. And how do you handle that, Helen, when you know what is coming, what the defenses are, how are you reacting these days? Are you, especially because it's been such a tough year for everyone emotionally with what's been going on with the pandemic, have you been able to hold space for people this year?
I was
say your spouse.
I haven't been successful in every single relationship. I'm going to really be honest. Right now, I'm going through a lot of turmoil with my siblings, and I have 2 sisters and 1 living brother left. So there's 4 of us total. And I am amazed, even though we grew up in the same household, we all have extremely different personalities. And each one is just looking for space, recognition. We want to be seen. And there's always that conflict of there's certain people who never get enough and they really feel left out.
I think we came from the same family. It's funny. You're one of 5 as well, too, right?
Yeah,
but
I'm one of 5.
I mean, I've talked to so many people about this subject, and I think it's every family has this. It's not just us. I mean, I have so many girlfriends. I've heard so many stories. And it's true. We all have different filters. We see things differently. We feel things differently. But I think you're right about wanting to be seen, Helen. I think everyone wanting to be respected and to be seen and heard and
Valued. And it's funny. I was having a conversation.
That's the big one, valued. And loved. Unconditionally.
Oh, boy. And it's so funny. I had a discussion with my youngest brother, and we ended up having a disagreement about our mother. And so what I ended up telling my brother is, I did not have the same experience with my mother, our mother, the way you did. So I am in a whole different level that you don't understand. And especially if a brother or sister, there's always certain people in the family that no matter what situation, they end up doing most of the work. And then the rest either does minimum amount of work or they just show up. So they don't understand the experience, even though we're in the same family. Each one of us have a very different relationship with our parents.
Absolutely. That's so true. That's so true. And yes, and having 3 kids myself, I should be looking at that, knowing this. And how do you work with your children around that?
Well, it's really a lot. One of the things, anyone who wants to jump in, one of my mother's tactics growing up was she used to compare us to each other. Why can't you be more like so and so? Why can't you be so? Unfortunately, shaming was a very big motivation factor in our family because nobody wanted to be compared to the bad boy or the bad girl in the family. So that becomes like a negative holding attention. Robin and I started to talk about what happens when you hold space for someone in a negative way. What do you do then?
How do you get out of that? Have you been able to figure that out? I mean, I've definitely had situations. I'll have to think about that, like when I've held space in a negative way for someone.
And it's kind of
I'll have to think about that. Boundaries are important. Boundaries are important.
Yeah, boundaries, and also holding someone under their thumb. That's what it is too.
Yeah.
So that becomes a power play when you hold space in an ugly, dark way. So you're not really doing it in the benefit of them. I think you're trying to get one up on them.
And that actually probably falls under a whole different category too than holding space. I mean, that has to do with codependency.
Yeah.
It also has to do with, there's so many ways to label that negative relationship, that negative energy.
I call it ugly addiction.
Ugly addiction. Absolutely. Yes. And we all have those relationships in our lives at one time or another. And sometimes you can change them if you're lucky. If you really reflect on your behavior and you go in and work on your inner balancing and energy, I think then you can work on that relationship to turn it around. I think there's ways. And working with a therapist, a professional therapist.
Yeah, but see, that will teach you how to respond to the other person. It does not necessarily teach you.
Teach them. No, but it does. I think it can help them if you're helping yourself. It's always, put your own mask on first, right? Like when you're in an airplane. Yeah. And when you're helping yourself, you end up helping those around you.
That's true. And then sometimes what happens when you get into that ugly addiction, you have to know when to walk away also.
Absolutely. And that's perfectly okay to do. And I'm a true believer in when that happens, it's meant to be.
Yeah, so and I personally, even though I'm probably like most people, overthink it because you're always thinking, what did I do wrong? How did I not
I don't
respond?
think, yeah, sometimes it's you didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes you didn't do anything wrong, and, or maybe, yeah, who knows? And I say la vie, right?
Yeah, sometimes you have to be like that.
Yes.
But can you walk away cleanly, or can you see that person and treat them cordially without having any emotional attachment?
Oh, I think that definitely is something that can be done. Absolutely.
I know
You
you're better at that.
you just have to be mature about it, and you just have to, I think if you love yourself enough to respect yourself, then you can hold space for people like that in your life.
Well, let me put it this way, Robin. I don't think I'm there yet. I have a tendency to wear my heart and my thoughts on my shoulders, on my sleeves. So I am not good at keeping, if something bothers me, I probably will say way too much than I should.
And that's okay too, Helen. That's another way of respecting yourself. Speaking
Well,
your truth.
yeah, but
Oh,
sometimes
I have a little visitor.
oh, your puppy.
Hi,
But when
Sasha.
you're holding space for people, sometimes what happens is they're not ready to grow with you either.
And that's okay too. And I think that's a big part of holding space, is allowing people to show up where they are, and not judging them for where they are on their journey.
That's true. And Carl is right. Sometimes the best thing you could do is say nothing. And
Yes.
I have a real tough time. So what I end up doing is, yeah, I radiate anger through my aura. I radiate this angry energy. You could feel it coming and go. In fact, you could cut it like a knife.
Well, that's so funny. That's why I work on my aura all the time. And Helen knows that's something that I love, is the aura and the energy around us and how it affects others, or how we can affect others with our energy coming out, like you said, at people. Yeah, and what did Carl say? Hi,
Yeah.
Carl. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, so the best thing you can do for some people is to say nothing at all, nothing to them. And just, yes, sometimes just keeping, saying nothing is sometimes the best medicine for both of you, for both.
But sometimes it just hurts me because when I say nothing, it's like a facade, like as though I'm in a play, and I have to choose my word carefully so the person won't feel intimidated, or I don't trigger them.
Interesting.
Because think about the people that you have the most challenges with. A lot of times, don't you tiptoe around what you want to say, but you can't see it?
Yes. I call it walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people like that in your life. It's just, and that person who you're walking on eggshells with one day you may not be walking on eggshells with them another day. And that's because you're picking up on their energy, Helen. You're feeling their energy. You can't go to whatever subject it is that is bothering you at the moment. Sometimes you just have to say nothing.
Yeah, but I always feel like I am playing their game also. So,
absolutely, you are. You're definitely playing that. You're playing the game. And it is. It is a game, and it's the game of life.
Yes.
Game of life.
So I got to constantly remind my rule keeper, Helen, this is not about you. And then I'm talking to myself. And why not? It should be about me.
Everything should be about me. Absolutely.
It's about me. It's about holding space for me and respecting what my needs are.
Absolutely. And do you find, that's another question I wanted to bring up. Do you find that the people in your life can hold space for you?
You know, I in a way, more no than yes.
Okay.
And the reason why I say this, because they are seeking help, because they're really seeking guidance. So they do hold space in a way, I'm going to say it, if it's helpful to them. So
Okay.
what's important to me is, how can I feel what their needs are? What can I say that they could hear? What will resonate?
True.
And what about you, Robin? I mean,
True.
you
I definitely find I maybe have a handful of people that can hold space for me, and I've been lucky that over the years I've definitely had great friends that have listened and have been helpful, or have just listened. And sometimes that's all you need, is someone to listen. So I definitely feel that I've been blessed with having those types of people, friends and family that have shown up that way. I definitely feel that, some people just can't always be that person for you at certain times in your life. So it's not always going to be the same person. And sometimes you can't, sometimes depending on what other people are going through in their lives, you can't go there because they can't hold space for you right now. And I think that's important to be aware of as well, is that sometimes you can't always go to the same people, or you can't always expect the same thing or the same person to hold space for you all the time. Sometimes they're unavailable.
So this is where detachment and non-judgment comes into play.
Yes.
All right. So let's reiterate the tips on what to do to hold space for yourself. Be mindful. Don't just become explosive for the sake of being explosive. Can you be in your quiet moment and think it through? And thinking through does not necessarily break it down into steps. Can you just feel it and be okay? Give yourself grace. In other words, be okay in this moment without judgment. How do you hold space for other people? Can you be present for them? I'm not telling you to be their friends, but just be present and be ready and just listen without judging.
And also try to listen without commenting or
active listening,
or offering advice or helping them come up with a solution and answer to whatever it is that they may be speaking of. Just try to listen, because usually most people figure things out on their own after they say what they have to say.
I think that's a very important skill. Like, for example, when I work with clients, I just give them options, and then what they choose is their choice. I have no judgment or attachment what they choose.
Yes, and that's a great skill that you do have, Helen. I have to say, you do that very well. You've done it for me, so I can say she can do it. She can definitely do it.
And Robin's done it for me when she calls me out on my SHIT. Instead of saying SHIT, she calls me out and says, "Do you realize what you just said, Helen?" I go, "What are you talking about, Robin?" That's
I'm good. I'm good at pointing that out, and I do it, and I mean it in such a loving way.
No, that's what I call actively holding space. Because so many people say and do things unconsciously out of just habit.
Yes.
They have no idea what they're doing. Sometimes they have no idea.
And being able to notice that and witness that and hold space and not judge it.
Yeah.
It's such a, not only is it a blessing for that other person, it's a blessing for you.
Yes. All right. So, Robin, would you like to lead meditation?
Yes. Let's do a nice, so what time is it? It's 7:27. So let's do a short, I'm just closing the door so that nobody walks in, and my dog, you can't,
puppy.
my dog I don't know where my family is right now. They're around, but I haven't seen my dog for a week. My dog was away for a week.
The dog went on vacation. Okay.
It's a family, yeah. I actually had a vacation because I stayed home.
No.
My family all went away with the dog. Sometimes you have to think of yourself and hold space for yourself and do something like that for you. Sometimes staying home is a vacation. Okay, so everyone.
Activate my Reiki hands.
Yes, activate your hot hands. So actually, this is something, if whoever's listening, I want you to rub your hands together. And while you're rubbing your hands together, I want you to close your eyes. Notice your breathing. And taking a nice deep inhale in. And slowly exhale. Do that one more time. Inhale in. Slowly exhale. Now take your nice warm hands. Place them over your eyes. And just breathe nice and slowly. Nice and normally. And slowly move your hands to your jaw. And just hold your face. Notice the thoughts that are coming and going through your mind. Just allow them to come in and out. If your mind is particularly busy right now, something we like to call squirrel brain or monkey mind, just continue to breathe nice and slowly, nice and normally. Focus your attention on the air flowing in and out of your nose. Now move your hands down to your upper chest, right below your shoulders. And just hold your hands here for a moment. Feel the rise and fall of your chest with each inhale and exhale. Notice any noises that you hear in your room or maybe outside the window. It's perfectly okay to meditate with having noises around you. Just focus on your breathing. Now take a nice deep inhale in. Exhale. Now if you're sitting up, place your hands on your lap, palms facing up. If you're lying down, place your arms beside you with your palms facing up. And just continue to breathe nice and slowly, noticing your inhale and your exhale. Relax your eye muscles. Notice the weight of your feet on the surface. Notice the weight of your body. You are now holding space for yourself. You are here. You are breathing. Take a nice deep inhale in and out. And if at any time during this meditation you need to take a nice deep inhale in and out, please feel free to do so. You are resting. You are breathing. You are being here for you. You are paying attention to your breathing. You are paying attention to your body. You are giving yourself this gift in this moment in time, just holding this moment. Pay attention to the air temperature coming in your nose and down your throat. I want you to visualize your energy field around your body. Your energy goes up, out, and around, and down, and within. Let's first go within, feeling the energy in our body, noticing the temperature of our body. Now bring your awareness out about a foot around your body. I want you to visualize this energy here as a beautiful white, sparkly, light field of energy. It's glowing, it's sparkling, it's holding you in a beautiful, cleansing, healing light. This is you. You can tap into your perfect healing vibes anytime that you need to. And just feel how your body is feeling right now, just visualizing yourself in this beautiful, beautiful, sparkly light. And just breathe. And I want you to imagine pushing out this beautiful light energy out and around you, above you, below you, within you, all around you. And just breathe nice and slowly with that visualization of sending this beautiful healing light out into your auric field. This is the loving energy that you can give to the world, to your family, to yourself, whenever you need to hold space for someone. And especially when you're holding space for you. So just sit for a moment, breathing and visualizing yourself in this beautiful space. Now bring your attention to your feet and the weight of your feet on the floor beneath you. Feel the gravity connecting you with Mother Earth, energy holding you. This energy is keeping you grounded. Now I want you to wiggle your toes and feel the energy coming up your legs. And taking a nice deep inhale in and exhale slowly. Feel this energy coming up into your body. Notice your thighs, your hips. Notice your back and your spine. And just begin to move your shoulders a little, feeling your spine. Just give yourself a little sway to the left and to the right. And inhale and exhale, nice and slowly. Slowly notice your fingers. Wiggle your fingers, bringing the energy back up into your upper body. Taking a nice deep inhale in and exhale slowly. Notice the temperature of the air on your face. Notice your eye muscles. Let them relax. Feel how relaxed your forehead and your eyes feel. Now slowly open your eyes and come back to the room. And feel that energy circulating around your body, within you and around you. And just breathe nice and slowly, coming back to the room. And know that this is a way that you can hold space for yourself and visualize yourself in that beautiful light, sparkling bright. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Robin.
You're welcome.
I was trying hard not to fall asleep. I became so relaxed.
And that's a great way to hold space for yourself, Helen, to be able to relax in that deep feeling. It's healing and it's helpful for holding space for others.
Yeah. So we're going to say goodbye for now. And next week's show, we are going to talk about how to create inner peace.
Yes.
Inner peace. So this is key because most people can't find inner peace. So this is Helen Chin Lu and
Robin Bornstein. Thanks for joining us tonight. And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe, read in the box, start the journey. We got tons of courses on the Healing Place Energy School. That's all self-care that you could teach yourself how to progress on your journey.
Yes. Thank you.
Be well, be safe. Bye-bye, everyone.